Okay, can you hear me now? And hey, Mike. Yeah, Parasocial was saying that it was muted. Well, this wasn't so much muted as the wrong, the mic that I'm using was not, shall we say, picked. I'm not sure what the word is. On. As I was saying before I wasn't saying, we are doing lesser known Bible stories. We are on the last 3 pages of thumbnailing uh, the Ehud story. After we get us back, we will go back to the beginning of the Ehud story and do our second pass, making things look a little better. And that won't be done tonight, well, hopefully, obviously. And then after we finish it up, we will be going back to Shamgar, to do a third pass on it, making it better, and then on to Othniel again, and then back onto this for a third pass, and then probably on to a fourth, and then maybe a fifth pass. Hopefully, in those times, some of those panels will be completely done, and we won't just have to be able to pass them by as we're going by the fourth and fifth pass, or at least for the fifth pass. Anyways, okay, so let's see. Tonight, what do we have for page 11 of this story? So we have panel 1 is Ehud getting a trumpet. Panel 2, when he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim. Panel 3, and the Israelites went down from the hills with him leading. Follow me, he ordered, for the Lord has given us Moab, your enemy into your hands. So this is just a 3-panel page. I think we're going to have panel 3 really big. So what we're gonna do is create the big frame on the page. And how are you tonight, Mike? And how are you tonight, Parasocial? Okay, so let's see. We're going to divide this into 2. This big one here. Oh, that's good. And then we're gonna take this top one, and we're gonna divide it in 2, but not more vertically. And vertically is the right way to say it. Well, you'll see in a second. This would say horizontally, but I guess it depends on how you look at it. Okay, so we're going to change what says frame 3 here into saying panel 1. We're going to change what says frame 1 into panel 2, and what says frame 2 into panel 3. So what we have to have here is Ehud getting a trumpet. Now, a trumpet for them would not be what we think of as a trumpet. Most of us think of the trumpet as something that looks like this. The little bells on top. Of course. Of course, that's a crudely made trumpet, how we would view trumpets today, but most likely that is not how the trumpet would have been back then. The trumpet probably would have been more like what some might call a shofar. So it would have been like long like this, and then coming into the mouthpiece like that. So, although I just drew it, how it will have the trumpet up on the wall like this. I'm waiting for my Dhofar. I think he meant shofar from Amazon. How's it going so far? How is it going so far waiting? So that would be Thursday. Yeah. We actually have an election on Thursday here in Ontario, a provincial election. And we're probably going to keep the government that we have, which is the Conservatives, Doug Ford. Not that I'm going to be voting for him. I'm going with the New Blue Party, I believe. No, I did not. Hear about how they're going so far. Okay, so. Okay, so we're going to put another layer here. This will be Ehud. Getting the trumpet. Because I don't know where they would hang the trumpet. That's about the only thing that I don't. Well, there's lots of things in this story that I probably should research a little bit better, as you've pointed out. Or in these stories. So. Okay, so we'll have the hill country of Ephraim. We'll just make some hills here. Conservatives 30% alternative for Germany, an anti-immigration party. 20%. Socialists 18, Liberals 10, and a few others. The Conservatives are not joining with the AFD, I'm not sure what the AFP though is. Okay, so and then we'll have Ehud here. One hand holding the trumpet. And then we'll have it lines like it's making a sound. Alternative for Deutschland. Deutschland is German for Germany. The Conservatives will not be joining with Alternative for Dutchland. Alternative for Germany anti-immigration. Okay, so are the Conservatives against immigration? Okay, I don't get what you're trying to say completely there. Okay, so there's panel 2. Now, I'm undecided how I'm going to do this. Hey, Peter, how are you? You know what? Let's give Peter a wrench. Save. You are now a standard moderator on my channel, Peter. Yes, Germany has had 3 terrorist attacks during December until, and 3 million just. Oh wow. They just parked for a minute, helping a friend. Seen where you live. Helping a friend. Seen you where live. Okay. Nice. Oh, not unlimited power. First of all, managing. There are moderators above you. Well, actually, I think there's only one. There's standard moderator. There is managing moderators, which are above standard mods. And of course, then there's me. It's just you can post links and stuff like that with that. Time anybody out who's misbehaving. But unless it's a bot or somebody posting inappropriate links, ask me before timing somebody out, because I'm not as gung ho to throw down the hammer on people. Or I guess it's throw down the wrench on people. Okay, so anyways, I'm thinking one of two things: showing a smaller version of Ehud and a whole bunch of, with him leading a whole bunch of Israelites, or a closer look maybe up on his face where he's saying this follow me, for the Lord has given Moab. I can be like Joseph, only next in power to the Pharaoh Richard. Yeah. Ricard. Yeah, along with everybody else who has a wrench in the chat. But I figured it'd be nice to give my boss a wrench. My boss at work, anyways. Hmm. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. We are going to make this 4 panels. I am working at the Arnacini Company, doing a variety of things, making arnacinis. Arnacinis are um, rice balls with various flavors put in them, like matzah, cheeseburger, Philly steak, garlic and parmesan, Sicilian. Uh, uh, yeah, yeah. This is this is panel 4. Okay. See you tomorrow, Peter. 10 o'clock. Or probably a couple minutes before 10. Okay, so we're going to take panel 4 and put it. Thanks for dropping by. Just remember to hit the like and share it if you can. Okay, so. Okay, so panel 3. So I'm gonna come to here. Control C. I'm just adding some stuff here in this for. Okay, so we're gonna have Ehud here. Doesn't say he dropped the trumpet. Probably not a good idea to drop the trumpet. So there. And behind him, we're going to have a whole bunch of Israelites. I'm just drawing in heads right now for my Israelites. Maybe give them some bodies. You get the idea. And then we're going to come to panel 4 here. Where we will oh, I think I got to put this panel 4 above panel 3. to be able to see things in it, which is all right. When we go to do panel 3, we can hide panel 4. Okay, so here's one of those close, probably a little too close. Here's one of those close-ups you were wanting last week. With some expression, although not probably quite the expression I want. Forget exactly what I did for him, so, but this is the representation. This is going to be Ehud up close. And this is where you're going to hear him say, "Follow me, for the Lord has given us Moab, your enemy, into your hands." Okay, so there we have page 11. Let's bring up, well, the beginnings of page 12, because this story is 13 pages. Now, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do here, because page 12, I just put page 12 and 13. It's chapter 7, or chapter 3, verses 28.2 to 30, which is the second to last verse, 30. And it says, "So they followed him down and took possession of the fords of Jordan that led to Moab. They allowed no one to cross over. At that time, they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. No, not one escaped. That day, Moab was made subject to Israel. The land had peace for 8 years." And then we go into Shamgar. Okay, so we sort of, so they followed him down and took possession of the fords of Jordan. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to divide this right now. So panel 1, they followed him down. Panel 2 is they took possession of the fords of Jordan that led to Moab. Enter. So panel 3, but they let no one cross over, so I'm just for that. I'm probably just gonna have a bunch of people together, arms crossed, not letting anybody. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for page 12. Um, so now we're going to have page 13, panel 1. And that's basically just going to be verse 29, I think, which is at this time they struck down 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. So again, I think we're going to have a scene similar to Shamgar, a bunch of Moabites in this case, not Philistines, slayed. And then we're going to have panel 2. That day, Moab was subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 8 years. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to show that. But so let's see. We got 3 panels. Now I could easily do a version of what I just did on the last page, but I don't like doing the same layout page to page. I will if I have to, but let's see. Tomorrow night before I start, I actually have to get it's gonna be video game characters from the 80s for Thursday night because I was looking at the 70s and I really can't make it go. Okay, so let's see. So they followed him down. Well, it's going to look similar no matter what. Let's see. I'm going to divide this into the way I did for the other one. A close-up of Shamu. Okay, then Shamu, we're dealing with, not Shamgar, we're dealing with Ehud. Why would I show him 8 to 10 years old? Or older? Well, I guess. Oh, Ehud. Yeah, but it's hard to show 8 to 10 years unless somebody drastically ages. Like, I don't look much different than I did 10 years ago. Well, I'm going to have to tell anyways. That's part of the scripture. I'm going to be writing the scripture in captions no matter what. That doesn't mean a thing. Some did, some didn't. Like I, this of course this is way before or way after you know the flood, but I think anybody before the flood didn't age that bad. We know. I'd say Sarah didn't age. Again, this is quite a time bit after Sarah. She must not age that bad because at 90, um, or 80 or 90, well, probably somewhere around 80, the king, the Pharaoh or the king of Egypt wanted her as a wife. But apparently she was fair to look upon, you know? Very good looking at 90, 80 or 90. Well, I don't think 90 because I think 90 is about the time that she got pregnant with Jacob. Abraham. With Isaac, sorry. So it was sometime before then. Hey, that's what the Bible records. And it even says she was past the time of women. So you don't want to believe it? That's your choice. Yeah, that's not what I'm wanting. Okay, there we go. Okay, so okay, so that's panel 3 again. This is panel. Uh, we want to. Gonna make that into 2 panels there. Okay, so again, we're gonna rename the frames into panels. Frame 3 becomes panel 1. Frame 1 becomes panel 2. Panel 3. There we go. Okay, so let's see. What are we drawing here? What are we doing? Okay, so they followed him down. So we got, I guess, another thing of Ehud here. To a different angle. They're following him down to a different place. So let's see. And then we'll have some more Israelites in the background here. Maybe this time we have Ehud with a sword and then charging on. Okay, so there's a bunch of Israelites. Uh, Following Ehud. I'm gonna have to probably look up what the fords of Jordan are. Here, let me see whether I can look that up right now. The fords of Jordan that led to Moab. And everybody can hit a like button and share. Let's see. Images. Black and white illustration. At the fords of Jordan. Okay, so this looks like it's a river. The Fords of Jordan is a river. It's a shallow, usually rocky part. Fords are a place in the river you can walk across. Okay, so what I guess we'll have here then is we'll put some rocks here, maybe a little bit of thing. Then we'll put some Israelites here. Guarding this passageway. And they're going to have swords in their hands, maybe some shields. See, another guy's partially off. Another guy's arm partially off. You know, maybe we'll even have some guys in the water too. A whole bunch of guys crowded around here, basically not allowing anybody to pass. Or looking like they took possession of it. Because there they took possession of it. Actually, you know what? Let's take all this out. I like the river there. Well, I'm not. I have to redo that. I might. You know what? Take that out. Take that. We're gonna come back a bit. Okay, so this time I'm actually gonna have them Israelites fighting some Moabites here. Clashing of swords. I'm probably going to make these guys smaller because otherwise this seems like a stream, not a river. two guys engaged in art and so yeah. Okay, we'll have another couple here. Uh, uh, Israelite is punching this one. So yeah, we'll have this look like the Jordan River as much as we can. Or we'll get some good pictures of the shell of that. Okay, and then we do the part where we see the Israelites here. A whole bunch of them here. Or put a couple of them behind these guys too. So we'll have five of them. Maybe we'll have a half a head here. Maybe another guy with half a head here and part of a body. So this, they're guarding it. Oh, Control S. Okay, so there we go, and okay, so now okay, so let's see. Now we're gonna divide this in two. Oh, I'm gonna do it vertically. So this is panel 1, and this is panel 2. Okay, so let's see. Now you said a close up of a young Ehud killing Moabites. Uh, at that time, they struck down the whole army struck down about 10,000. I guess I could. Now are the now there's one I'm not sure of. Are the Israelites the ones that are vigorous and strong, or the Moabites, or both? Um, in some ways, I don't want to do. Well, I wouldn't show. Uh, hmm. This is where. Hey, Grant, how are you? Okay, so I'm trying to come up with a couple thumbnails for the last part of this thing. It's the story of Ehud. Um, this is page 13, and panel one is supposed to be at that time. They struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong, not one escaped. And panel two, and that day Moab was subject to Israel. They had and the land had peace for years. I am doing well, very well, in fact. Um, Now, mother of all bummy. Okay. Um, Now, uh, Parasocial had suggested I just show close up of Ehud killing a Moabite, and then show him like 10 years later or 8 years later to show passage of time. Um, I'm not sure whether I want to show just him taken down. I think maybe I should show a battlefield. There are dead bodies, and then there are people fighting, sword fighting, most likely. I think that's what I want to do for the first panel. So I'm not sure whether it would be overhead or, well, be slightly overhead. Have him pre-battle about to fight the Moabites. Hmm. Okay. Uh, Make your panel selection more nuanced and varied. Use them to convey what sort of emotional change. You know, we've just had them. He's went and blown a trumpet in Ephraim. The Israelites have rallied together. They rushed down with him leading. He's saying, "Follow me." For the Lord has given us Moab, your enemy, into your hands. And again, they follow him. They take possession of the fords of Jordan that led to Moab. They let nobody cross over. And then they allow, at that time, they struck down 10,000 Moabites, vigorous and strong. I don't think there's much of emotional change in that whole scene. It's battle. rigorous battle. Maybe everybody's caught up in the thralls of war or battle, but I don't think that would have changed from what I've just done on page 12 and page 11 even to this point. Um, yes, but I want to try and convey something that's there. At this time, they struck down 10,000 Moabites. Yes, but I want to more show the battle than I've only got so much thing. I'd rather, you know, although it's saying it, I'd rather show the immensity of it. Although, I can't really show 10,000 Moabites getting killed. Yeah. Well, I showed sort of the try. Yeah, maybe have him send that. That's already been done, Grant. That was on page 11. Yeah, page 11. Ehud gets a trumpet. Panel 2. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites down from the hills with him leading. Follow me, he ordered, for the Lord has given us Moab into your hands. Oh, is this the comic or the thumbnail? Well, it's the comic, but these I'm drawing the thumbnails of the panels. What's going to be in the panel? Uh, and divide the panel into sections so those. Do I want it? I'm trying to think. Okay. Divide. Yeah, I got what you're saying. It's just I don't want to. I go. There too much. Like the next story, I actually show a lot of that. Oh, okay, I thought you were doing it. Yeah. Oh, no problem, Grant. Your things are welcome. If I wanted to do something on war itself and the stuff that it makes you feel, that would be the thing to do, Parasocial. But I'm just trying to show and capture what this panel says, that at this time they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. I'm trying to think, and I'm thinking, trying to show. No, I'm not sure how far above the exact angle. Yes, I'm showing a war, a battle, and I'm not trying to show each individual person getting slaughtered, or even a few individual people getting slaughtered. I'm just trying to show a war or a battle. I don't care what they feel like in battle in this. I just want to show a battle. 10,000, get the bigness of the number of people being killed. To me, that's more what's important here, that the enormity of what's happening. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's about getting across other things. I don't want to tell about what people feel in war. That's not what this is about. What people feel in war. This is about the fact that 10,000 Moabites got killed by Israelites. Because of them being subject to the Moabites. I don't want to look at that. That's not what I don't want to imitate them. I'm trying to do something different. I'm not trying to do what they do. That's maybe I want to convey something completely different. I don't know what they're trying to convey in their stuff. I just want to convey a battle. I don't care about showing any individual motions of people. I just want to show battle. Good for them. Yeah, it's just how far do I go up? That's sort of what I'm thinking, Grant. It's just I'm trying to do it on an angle so you do see a little bit of them, not just, heads. It's like something I'm trying to show something more out of Lord of the Rings when you're seeing the battle from the two armies battling, but you're not seeing it up close. You're just seeing all the battles, all the sword fighting going on amongst all the things. They're not, yes, you might see some individual people in rage, but you just see a lot of people fighting. That's all you see. And that's all I want to convey. There's a lot of people fighting. Because, 10,000 10,000 Moabites, so that means you probably have about the same many amount as Israelites or more. So you're looking at a minimum of 20,000 people. Yeah, but see, I've shown all the individual. I showed Ehud up until now. I've focused on Ehud a lot. Now it's the battle to win. Uh, yeah, it conveys individual battles, but it also conveys the overarching huge battle. Yeah, I'm not talking to you, Grant. I'm talking more to Parasocial. Like, so all these little things are supposed to be a couple of people fighting. I guess maybe you could have two or three, somewhat of a angled overhead, like looking down from this way. Yes, but everything about this, what you're talking about, is before this. Look, let's go back to the beginning of this story. Ehud, page 1. And now I'm just going to read it all the way through. I'm not going to reach page and panel. I'm just starting at thing. Judges chapter 3, verse 12. And again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And because they did this evil, the Lord gave King Eglon of Moab power over Israel. Getting the Ammonites and the Amalekites to join him, Eglon came and attacked Israel. They took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, King Eglon of Moab, for 18 years. And the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gera, the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with a tribute to King Eglon of Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute to King Eglon of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. But upon reaching the stone images near Gilgad, he himself went back to Eglon. And he said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." And the king said to his attendants, "Leave us." And they all left. Ehud approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, "I have a message for you from God." At this, the king rose from his seat. Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank into the belly. The bowels discharged. Ehud did not pull out the sword. The fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind them, behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said, "He must be relieving himself in the inner room of the palace." They waited to the point of embarrassment. But when he did not open the doors, they took a key and unlocked them. Opening the doors, they saw their lord had fallen to the floor dead. After they while they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the stone images to escape to Sariah. Ehud getting a trumpet. When he arrived there, he blew the trumpet in the hill come of Ephraim. And the Israelites went down from the hills with him leading. "Follow me," he ordered, "for the Lord has given us Moab, your enemy, into your hands." So they followed him. They took possessions of the fords of Jordan, and they allowed no one to cross over. At that time they struck down 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. That day Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 80 years. Okay. Can I see the pages? The pages that I've done already, or the script? Gluttony, embarrassment, curiosity, concern, horror, urgency. What about these? There's only so much I can show, and I'm not trying to do an artist's interpretation of this. I'm trying to tell what the story says. I'm not trying to make up much, if anything. Well, first of all, remember these pages are not finished, nowhere near close. This is just getting the drift of this. I think that might. I'm trying to find where this one starts. Okay, yeah, I think I did start on the last one. So here we have page 1. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave King Eglon power over them. Here's a thought: do an aftermath. And that's interesting for sure. I actually sort of like that, Grant. So we have panel 1 here of this page. And we're showing various forms of Israelites doing murder. Then we're showing King Eglon, king of Moab. And then power over Israel, sort of them under his thumb or under his foot. You know, a map was probably going to be there or whatever. I'm trying to figure that one out exactly. So there's that. Page 2. Getting the Ammonites and Amalekites to join him. So I'm going to show a picture of. It says what there's various. I haven't drawn pictures in here because, I just wanted to get this idea quickly figured out. Well, obviously, since he's going to be a bad, he's positive and negative in some ways because God gave him power over Israel because Israel did evil in the eyes of the Lord. But he was a bad king, so God had him taken out. So there's page 2. Look at the angle. Obviously, I have that's not complete. I've got him there with holding a sword in his hand, hand on his hip, and you're having to look up to him like he's lording over you. So here we have page 3. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 18 years. So I just have him on his throne. We have the Israelites again cried out to the Lord in page 2. They gave him a deliverer, showing Ehud. Well, at that point, I wouldn't, at this point, he's not necessarily evil because God has given him power over Israel. So he's subject. I guess you could say he's good, could say he's bad. I'm not sure. He's, you know, Israelites did bad, so he's been given power over, and then he's done bad. So, anyways, we're showing Ehud, then we're showing Ehud and his dad, then we're showing Ehud with the guys carrying some sort of tribute. And then we're showing, I guess we're going back a little bit because of the way that this is written, showing Ehud making a sword about a cubit long, him presenting the tribute to the king. We have him strapping the sword to his right thigh. Okay. Then we have just showing the guys in the background. What do we got here? After I guess we're showing Ehud presented the tribute and those guys getting on their way. We're trying to show the stone images near Gilgal here. Them walking away, Ehud walking away from the other guys, the stones. Ehud back at the king, saying, Lord, I have a secret message for you. Then we have King Eglon saying, leave us. And then we have Ehud reaching with his left hand, Ehud sitting, approaching the king getting up. I don't know, because the story doesn't say, and I'm not going to read into that. I don't know exactly what the stones look like. That's something that I have to research. Right now, this is just the sketches to get everything, the basics of everything there. You're wanting fine details, some fine details that I'm going to include and some that I won't. in the sketch stage, getting this just basically so I have an idea what's going on, figuring out what I want on the page based on what the text says. So he approaches him and he said, I have a message from you from God. The king rising. He's pulling out reaching with his left hand to his right thigh, pulls out his sword and plunging it into the king's belly. Showing the sword handle going in, showing him taking after dying, I guess. How does it put it here? His bowels being discharged. And then, of course, we're seeing the king dead, having fallen forward, dead. We're seeing Ehud come out of where he and the king were, shutting the doors, locking them. Then we're showing a bunch of servants at a different door. They're checking the doors or waiting around, and finally they unlock the door and come in and find the king dead. I hate when that happens. Literally long time. Yeah, but that's the thing that happens. I think your bowels do discharge when you die, right? So the fact that they included it is sort of funny, and like I just had to put it in, so some way, shape, or form. So we're back to Ehud making. Yeah, me neither. But we haven't exactly died either like that, have we? Which is a good thing. So from next, let's see. Okay, so page 10, this is page 10 of this story. Well, they waited. Ehud got away. He passed. So this is them showing them waiting again. Him jumping off away over the porch railing and getting past the stone images and him coming to the town of Saraya, or however it's pronounced, Seirah. And of course, this is where we started today. Ehud getting a trumpet, him blowing it, the Israelites following him saying, "Follow me, for the Lord has given us Moab into your hands." And then the Israelites following him again down to the fords of the Jordan, them saying, "None shall pass." And then we're right here where the page 13, where 10,000 Moabites get struck down, all vigorous and strong, and not one escaped. And that day that was made subject to Israel, the land had peace for 8 years. Yeah, so I'm trying to. I'm not sure that this arrow will get it, but I'm sort of like that point of view is what I'm trying to go for. If you get that. For the overhead, so you see a little bit of the sides of the soldiers. And I don't think the Israelites will be in soldier uniforms of any type. The Moabites probably will be. Now, you had suggested. Oh, it was you. Uh, I don't think there's exactly any meaning unless it's, don't, do evil in the sight of the Lord. Otherwise, you're going to get subject to somebody and then you're going to have to cry out. A lot of people are going to get killed because of it. I think it's just a point of telling the history of Israel. A time when they were subjugated because they did evil in the eyes of the Lord yet again. Yes and no. Because it's just on paper, it is, like 10,000, can I really conceive 10,000 Moabites being slaughtered? Yes and no. Can I conceive that the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and what that was exactly? Yes and no. They were subjugated because of it. There's parts of it I can, and that disturbs me. That the fact that they did do those evils, whatever they might have been. I can that is what the only part that I'm willing to guess at for sure. You know, some ways we know what different evil things are in the sight of the Lord, so I depicted some of those. Acted like which part? Oh, but yeah. Let's see. We have the dead bodies here. I like your idea, Grant, about the dead bodies. Again, maybe I should. I'm just trying to show. There's the landscape. Let's try and have some dead bodies here. I like your thing about The buzzards. What was it? Oh, gotta lay down for a bit. Fighting the cold. Okay, see you later, Grant. I'm not sure. Sorry I didn't read that soon. Uh, okay. I'm just gonna put feel dead bodies, crows, and buzzards feasting. Okay, so I did like that idea. That was a decent idea. That day Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 8 years. Now that's the hard one to figure out. Okay, so let's see. What do I do for showing peace? Um, who was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 8 years. I want to put some Moabites in shackles, but I don't think that would be the best way to show them subjugate it. Could show a Moab, but how would I show a Moabite, you know, at the feet of an Israelite? Hmm. I'll figure that out when I get to this panel next. So we'll have an Israelite here. And then we'll have head turned and washing. I guess the Moabite washing the foot. I have a bucket here, water. Uh, We'll just have it at the door of a one of the Israelites' houses. Okay, so let's see. We'll save that. Okay, let's child. We're gonna do a few folders here. Uh, worship. Uh, murder. And then we got one that right now is a question. Okay, so then we're going to create just layer so we can create some lines here. That's probably way too big for the thickness of a line. But we want to okay, so we're bring the opacity down. Let's bring this line thing down. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not sure what the one thing is. Unfortunately, I know what this is going to be. So we're on. We got about 20 more minutes. Let's bring these lines down again. Put some fire here. Line there. You know what? We're going to make this a little bigger. we'll have a diaper or something on right here. Not that they would care, but just for some decency in our comic. Don't want to be we're depicting some bad stuff here. Don't need to make it any worse. You know, but what more worse really can you get? And we're showing somebody doing some child sacrifice. So, you know, that is bad in of itself. But we don't need to show the child naked. So we'll have some woman here. On her knees, hands and knees. Okay, so that looks a little better, that one. Okay, so let's add a layer here. I'm not sure what sort of idols they would worship back then. I should figure out. But for right now, we're going to put a calf in, a golden bowl or something like that. I'm just getting this out of like the Ten Commandments. And then we will have two worshippers here. Laying down, there's a head. Okay, so again, it's a little better than what it was, not much. And then we have murder. Okay, so here's some thing. He's screaming because he's getting murdered. I don't think he likes getting murdered. We'll put a knife. This guy's hand. He'll be grabbing it with his hand. There we go. Do 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 do. I gotta probably gotta do that from the other side. Uh, take the hand out of there. Okay, so we're gonna have this from the other side. So the arms coming down like that. The guy is here. And he's behind the guy. We'll have him laying a hand on him, holding him there, where he stabs him. There. So we'll take that out. I'm not sure what we're doing for that one panel there. Okay, so that is the murder shown. That is panel 1. Do, 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 do. I gotta find out what a crown looks like from back then. So, um, I'm just going with a Jughead crown for now. Do we have the picture of King Eglon? There we go. Alright, let's do. I'm gonna add another layer. So we're gonna add another layer here. And we're gonna put his sword in. Now I've changed the direction of the sword just more because of that's how I ended up doing the hand. So I'm just gonna have his sword come up like that. I'll put a line down the middle of it. And let's see what he looks like without all these lines behind him. I think he looks a little better. Not the best, but a little better. Make his hair, chest a little hairy there. His arms a little hair. Okay, so let's see. Take King Eglon out there, and we will put in panel 3. And again, I think this is supposed to be his foot with probably a map of Israel underneath it. So we will again put the opacity down on this, and we will attempt to draw his foot. Hey, John. What's up? I'm just trying to draw my get my lesser-known Bible stories together. This is my second pass for the thing that we had. Hey, what's he doing here? What's who doing here? Me or Dillard? Okay, so now we're gonna have, I'm not sure what it would look like, but we're gonna supposed to have a map of Israel of the time here. Maybe have a dot here and say Jerusalem. What Bible story is this? This is the story of Ehud. From Judges chapter 3, verse 12 to verse 30. Yes, he had the lefty. So we have on page 1 here. I'm not sure what to put in this one section that's blank. We have page 1, which is made into 3 panels. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, which we are showing some child sacrifice. We are showing some idol worship, and we are showing some murder. Anything else you can think of? I did do some sexual immorality in a different one, and I wanted, although I've done murder in another one, but anything you guys can think of for that we could be for Israelite doing evil in the eyes of the Lord? I wouldn't dare suggest. I guess I'll have to figure that one out myself. A fourth thing there. And then it says, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave King Eglon of Moab power over Israel. So we have a picture of my interpretation of King Eglon, and we're depicting him having power over Israel by having his sandal on top of a map of Israel. How about some evil nature? Ooh, that's good. Blasphemy. Uh, I like that one. Okay, so we change blasphemy. And I sure how to spell it. Doesn't matter. I will hopefully know what I mean. Yeah, that's why in this thing here, we'll show a guy. Uh, we'll show a guy looking up to heaven. Really mad. Having his arm in the air. Shaking his fist. And doing this. All the bad stuff. Oh, I think what you mean. Blasphemy is bad, so I shouldn't say good. Suggestion? So I'll have to come over and do that one a little bit later. Oh, thanks. It's a good suggestion of somebody doing bad. Now, I think I gotta figure out some. I gotta get some pictures of ancient Ammonites and Amalekites and Moabites, and I gotta find this city of palms to see what it looked like. So we're gonna have King Eglon here leading the armies of the Ammonites, the Moabites, and the Amalekites. Don't forget the Cenobites. Well, they weren't mentioned here. The most delicious of bites. What is a Cenobite then? Is that like a pizza bite? So we've been at this 2 hours. gross. um. So this show is now going to be because of my work schedule. This show is now going to be at either I think 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cinnabite. Is that something with cinnamon on it? Cinnabite? And go for the 2 hours. So I'm not sure whether we're going to get to this page next week because that's some of these pages are going to take a heck of a long time. A cinnamon donut hole. But we might get to this. This is Fat King Eglon. Cenobites are the Hellraiser monsters. And then, of course, we got some Israelites crying out to the Lord. And then we got Ehud here nailing something up on a thing with his left hand. And then we got Ehud and his dad. And then Ehud and his band of merry men taking a tribute to King Eglon. And we got Ehud making a sword, strapping it to his thigh. We got Ehud giving a tribute to the king. We got Ehud still giving the thing to King. Well, his merry men are making their way, and he joins them, and he says to his merry men, "Hey, you keep going on ahead. I'm going back to the king." What's the difference between Israeli and Israelite? An Israelite is one thing. And then he's saying to the king, "Hey, I got a message for you, a secret message for you." And the king's saying, "Hey, guards, everybody, get lost." And then he approaches the king, and he says, "I got a secret message for you from God. I got a message for you from God." And the king gets up. Ehud reaches for his sword underneath his garment, takes it out, and stabs the king in the belly. And this king is so fat that the sword goes all the way in and gets covered up. And then the king discharges his bowels from being dead. Then the king falls over dead, forward dead. And then Ehud makes his escape outside on the porch. And then his servants are like, they're waiting at the door, and they're like, "What's going on?" The king's taking a little bit of time. Maybe he's went in and relieved himself. So they wait, and then they finally say, this is a little bit embarrassing. They grab the key, they unlock the door, they go in, and they find the king dead. So while they were waiting, as we know, Ehud got away. He got past those stones. He went to the town of Syria. And he grabbed a trumpet. He blew the trumpet. And the Israelites came. And he said, "Hey, follow me. God's given us Moab into your hands." And then they go all the way down to the fords of the Jordan River, and they take it, and they say, "None shall pass." And then the rest of the army takes out 10,000 Moabites, and well, they had peace for 8 years after that, with Moab subject to them. Well, it's not that Moab. There might be a Moab and thing. So what's Lane? Dillard? So this week, for um, whatchamacallit, is the silhouette game is 80s video game characters. These layouts don't look very action or drama packed. I'm doing the best I can. You might be able to come up with something a little better, Dillard. I know that topic. I was gonna do 70s, but I couldn't find enough. At least not enough to make it individualized. I might be able to do something for the game, but I don't know. I do. I tried to. Well, they might look. I tried to do some decent looks. Probably my Shamgar is the best one so far, but some of them I had a hard time thinking of what to do. Like this last page, um, I had a hard time uh, because let's see, it was at that time they struck down 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. I had a few ideas. Grant, I forget. Grantish Crosby suggested showing a field of dead bodies with crows and buzzards coming down to feast. And, like, then there's that day Moab was subject to Israel and had peace in the land for 8 years. So I didn't know what else to show. I showed an Israelite with a Moabite person washing their feet at the entrance of their dwelling. Instead of a foot on a map, give the map a vanishing point above the horizon. Instead of a foot on the map, give a map a vanishing point, then above the horizon on the map of close up of the king's face. Yeah, I guess that could be a little bit better. So let's So you're thinking something like, yeah, let's get just this straight line. And then you're thinking, I do the map of Israel, Jerusalem, and then we have like the king. You're thinking something like that, Dillard? Sent DM. On Twitter, I take it. Let's see. Copy image. Take new from clipboard. So there is what John is suggesting. Okay, so you saw mine after you sent your DM? Oh, but yours is definitely a little bit more dramatic. I got to get a good map of Israel to put in there for sure, but oh, a deep shadow. I know, not quite like yours, but why do I always mess up something that you do good? Sent another DM. Copy image. Make new from clipboard. And then I'm showing the shadow. Do, 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 do. Is, am I spelling Israel right? Or is it, how do you spell it? Yeah, you went A-E. No. You got the hand. I've got the hand a different way than you. I think that's my major thing. And then we go Jerusalem. Is that better, John? Thank you. Okay, so we'll save that. That, of course, has got to be made better next time around. Well, that's for the fourth pass. Now, let's see. I'm going to... We'll go King Eglon. See what is PNG. And we'll save that. PNG, King Eglon. Yeah, I say King Eglon. They say Eglon, King of Moab. Same thing. Okay, so I think that's we're getting things a little better. Of course, next time we will be hopefully we'll be working on page 2, maybe page 3 of this story. No, this is past 2 on all this, not past 3. So, oh, but yeah, it would be past 3 that we do this. And this, of course, was on my rough. Some of it's now becoming roughs as well. And thank you, John, for that idea. But I think I'm going to end at this point. Everybody, remember you like, share, hit the bell for notification. John, are you doing your Am I the A tonight? Or you should be doing it like now, I think, on 4 minutes. No? Oh, okay. I'd say run out of stories, but I highly doubt that. Too sick. Oh, sorry to hear that. Oh, John, I'm not sure what your standing is with Goodnight Spoon, but keep him in your prayers. He's going through a lot of anxiety right now to the point of agoraphobia, where he doesn't even want to go out. He's afraid to go out. I think that's agoraphobia, right? He's been around here a few times. Usually on Tuesday nights. He wasn't here last Tuesday. I messaged him. Yeah, I messaged him earlier in the week. He's still not doing good, so I've been praying for him a lot. Anyways, I guess with that, I'm gonna say good night. I will see you all tomorrow night. Hopefully, see you all tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the chill stream, where I guess we will be doing some more front character stuff of my characters. So, bye for now. God bless. Love you all. See you tomorrow. And remember, Silhouette Game is 80s video game characters. So, bye now. God bless.